I just think that when it comes to information that pertains to the outcome of your life, which an actual tornado does. It can kill you, it can take your life away, and you should trust that. I don't know how it's 2025 and we don't. It doesn't make sense. To me, it's stupid. And we've put a lot of time and emphasis into things that don't matter. I don't understand how people aren't trusting. There needs to be a source where people are like, "Yep, this one. Now I'm listening because it's coming."
Well, and I think again it all goes back to the root issue, which is just the false alarms and probably the county versus location specific, alerting.
Yeah.
Is a lot of these free weather apps come in and will just send an alert for the whole county when the county could be huge.
We're gonna start doing these more. These are fun.
This is gonna be good. I'm excited for the topic that we're going to talk about. And again, we had an interesting thing happen in the office. We've had a lot of interesting things happening lately. But we did just have the fire alarm go off.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny how, when you're in elementary school and the fire alarm goes off, all the kids scream and run and go towards the door. When you're an adult and the fire alarm goes off, we kind of just step out, walk around, like nothing's going on, like there's not a care in the world. It's funny how that works. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think just in general, I think as society, I think we're desensitized to basically everything. If I'm being honest, I think 2020 had a lot to do with that, but over the years, not only that, it's just we've been. I think as people, and I know this is a weather-related question, but I have to talk about how I personally feel about this topic. Is social media and news and all the things have done nothing but drive fear to people for many, many years, for a long time. It's always worst case scenario. It's always fires and deaths and murders and suicide and all these things. And what's happened, in my opinion, is we've just become accustomed to worst case. And so anymore when that happens, it doesn't really alarm us.
Yeah.
Which is not good, by the way.
No, and I looked up this morning some interesting stats. We just had the first severe weather event, really, of the year. On Friday and Saturday, March, 14th and 15th, there were 254 tornado warnings issued. Can you guess how many tornadoes have actually been reported?
Can I guess, or do you want me to tell you?
Do you know?
No, I don't know. I thought it was like 39.
78, so a little more.
78,
and there's probably still some more to come in, but that's still a relatively low percentage. It's probably actually one of the better percentages that I've seen, because
what is the rate, the percentage there to?
The false alarm ratio for tornado warnings in the U.S. is 70 to 75%.
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick, because you and I were live streaming. We were going through the stuff, looking at the warnings and. We are not NWS warning coordination meteorologists, right? Could we be easily? Yes, that wouldn't be difficult to do. It'd be one of the easier jobs to do. And that's no, I'm not throwing shade at warning coordinating meteorologists. You guys are great and you do it great, but there's a lot of warnings that get issued that even when we're streaming and analyzing things, we've been doing this for a very long time. We are asking, why was this issued? What's going on here? And it can be a differentiation of opinions or expert analysis and that type of thing. But the issue, in my opinion, is we have the knowledge, the ability, and all the things to shrink these polygons.
Yeah.
We have the understanding, the knowledge to have a lot of ground truth. The warnings could be so much better.
Yeah.
And a lot of them that are issued, over half, I don't agree with them.
Well, 70 to 75%. I understand that some of it's precautionary.
Sure.
But we have to get to a point, I feel like, where we're not overwarning people because to your point earlier, just society in general, we're desensitizing people
Yeah.
by overwarning.
Yeah.
In the name of safety for overwarning, we're actually maybe doing more harm than good.
Yeah. The whole process, the whole system, everything needs it needs looked at. We need to look at some enhancements, some operational efficiencies. There needs to be some changes that are made to the system in general, not just weather warnings, but all of it. It all needs looked at. And I think that message can be an unpopular message.
Sure, and it probably will be.
Yeah, it can
but
piss
it doesn't
some
mean
people
it's
off.
wrong.
Yeah, it can piss people off and people get offended, but things need to be. This isn't 1995; it's 2025. A lot of this technology is decades.
Sure.
Decades old. The tornado sirens, for a lot of people that don't know, which I get so worked up about this, is tornado sirens were initially created to warn people of air raids during the World War. Like they're not. We've used them to help notify the public now of tornadoes, but a lot of EMAs, county officials, people, they'll start sounding these damn sirens when there's a tornado watch and a severe thunderstorm warning, and a tornado is not even possible. I mean, okay, is there a percent chance that a tornado could develop? Sure, but the reason the sirens are being sounded is not for a tornado.
Yeah. Well, and you also get situations where you have massive counties, like Johnson County in Indiana is a big county, and if you set off the warnings, even though there's only a tiny part of the county that's under the warning, that means 95% of the county could be getting a false alarm. And we see it on our Facebook pages, people worrying about the sirens are going off, but I got this alert, but I didn't get this alert. It's confusing.
Yeah.
It can be very confusing for people.
It is, and it's frustrating. It's actually something that really frustrates me because we get bombarded, and people they don't know. They're not understanding what's going on. It's 11 o'clock at night. There's a tornado watch. There's a severe thunderstorm warning. You might not even get a severe gust of wind, and the tornado sirens are going off.
Yeah.
And it's a complete irresponsible misuse. And where it comes from, in my opinion, it comes from, and I mean this respectfully, but it comes from a place of ignorance. It's a lack of knowledge on the topic.
Yeah.
And because we don't know or we haven't dedicated enough time to get the right information into the right hands, our natural default is, well, just alert everybody.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Again, I think that goes back to the 70 to 75%. But I think the impact of that, Michael, here's another stat. 25% of people said they would just flat out ignore a warning if they have received too many false alarms or too many alerts.
I think 25% is probably low. You could probably poll people yourself and find, I don't think that that's off by any means. If anything, it's too conservative. But again, I think it goes back to all the information. You have to think about like humans in our minds. We were not made to consume this much information.
Yeah.
When you think back the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s and early 2000s, we were not aware of everything going on because we weren't connected, and our brains were not. We weren't fed the information overload. And now every time you get on X, you're basically hearing about everything, and your brain is like, wow, this and that, and explosion and death and destruction, and what happens is you're like, well, okay, it's just another day now. But that didn't used to be what people were fed. And so in my opinion, it's a problem of too much information.
Yeah.
And these are ruining, while they're great in many ways, they're ruining people as well.
Yeah.
By far.
Well, and I think that another survey said only 47% actually said they would seek shelter immediately when they got a warning. Think about how devastating it could be if 53% of people don't seek shelter and a tornado goes through a major city.
Yeah.
Like a strong tornado.
Yeah, like St. Louis the other night, there was a warning, and the population was impacted in the warning was 2.6 million people.
Yeah.
So if 1.4 million of those people decided they weren't going to listen, and there was a large tornado, thousands of people would die.
Yeah. Well, and I do think, I think that somewhere down the line we're going to be in for a rude awakening, with a lot of people getting hurt because people are not heeding warnings because they have been desensitized over time. Yeah. Whether it be too many alerts, whether it be false alarms, whatever the case may be, it is going to cause a major issue somewhere down the road.
Yeah, and I'll just say it because I don't, and I know it's going to make some people mad, and it doesn't really matter, but the whole warning process, the whole county-based NWS tornado siren watch warning thing, it sucks. It's not good. And anyone that thinks it's good is, again, their thinking is outdated. It's old. Even if you look at our okay, let's say we look at Clarity, what the capabilities of Clarity are. Very simple for us to take an NWS tornado warning and shrink it by 60% and send it to our customers and say, hey, yeah, we know there's a tornado warning that's covering 3 times the land that it needs to, but that tornado, highly likely, it's less than a quarter mile wide. Highly likely.
Yeah.
Okay, a tornado that's a mile wide is pushing the record books of mass, and that's, those polygons are 10, 15 miles.
Yeah.
And so you could fit arguably 30 tornadoes inside of one NWS warning polygon. The average tornado is 90 seconds, EF1, quick spin up?
Yeah, most of them, the ones that get attention are EF3, EF4, EF5, but most of them are quick.
Yeah.
And real quick, Hope, how are we doing on time? Because I think we've got 20 minutes. Are we doing okay?
Yeah, you're at 11:30.
Oh, wow, we've got, I always feel like the time comes up quick on us when we do these. So.
Are we on a time limit?
20 minutes is what we're at.
Okay.
That's what we had set the limit at.
Okay. Well, we should talk to that person. That seems not long enough. Anyways, yeah. So just so everyone knows, I'm not told of the topics before we go because I don't want to be. But so
I tried to tell him. He told me not to.
Yeah, I don't want to know. It just helps it be more authentic. Yeah. I don't want to think. So, what else do you have?
So, let's see here. Of 1,000 residents in tornado-prone areas, now there was a survey. 60% trust weather apps. 65% trust TV, 68% or 78% trust the wireless emergency alert, which is the one that you get on your phone, the one that comes through the emergency alert system. But I do think that it's interesting that that's relatively new in the last 5 years. There's already a little bit more trust with that than TV and probably your standard Weather Channel app. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just because it's more pronounced? Do you think that I know that some of those can be a little more location specific. So do you think that maybe that's starting to limit the false alarms a little bit?
I don't know. I don't know why in my opinion, if you get a tornado warning alert, you should trust it 100%.
Yeah.
This lies the whole problem. I think that I don't know why anyone would ever trust a free weather app on their phone, because if people knew why they were actually created, they wouldn't. They weren't created to notify you to the jack square root of crap. They're made to sell marketing.
Yeah.
That's why they're made. I mean, AccuWeather is a multi-million-dollar organization. They sell advertising to people. Weather Channel. So I guess people trust it because they've done a great job marketing it, and it's on every phone, and it's free, and it looks nice.
Yeah, but still 40% don't.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. I just think that when it comes to information that pertains to the outcome of your life, which an actual tornado does. It can kill you, it can take your life away, and you should trust that. I don't know how it's 2025 and we don't. It doesn't make sense. To me, it's stupid. And we've put a lot of time and emphasis into things that don't matter. I don't understand how people aren't trusting. There needs to be a source where people are like, "Yep, this one. Now I'm listening because it's coming."
Well, and I think again it all goes back to the root issue, which is just the false alarms and probably the county versus location specific, alerting.
Yeah.
Is a lot of these free weather apps come in and will just send an alert for the whole county when the county could be huge. We dealt with that a lot in college where we would all have to go into shelter, even though the warning may have been 15 miles to the south, but it was still within the county.
Yeah.
And so I would hear, when I did TV at school, I would hear all the time, "Oh, it never happens here.
Yeah.
It never happens here, so why would I pay attention to it?"
Yeah, it's interesting, to say the least, and it's interesting that the people who are at the high levels running these places still listen to it.
Yeah.
Like if I'm running an organization that has 60,000 humans in it, and I know a tornado is 15 miles away, that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say, "Yeah, guys, you're fine.
Yeah.
Proceed with normal daily life. You'll be
Yeah.
cool." So it's just weird. I don't even know where the stigma comes from, but it needs changed. It's not right, and it sucks.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the best way to change it is?
It's a message needs communicated to everybody that a mass overhaul is happening, and that we're going to redo it, and we're going to make it better. And from now on, when you get a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning or a flash flood warning, it is going to be because we've doubled the confidence, and now instead of a 10-mile wide polygon, there are 5.
Yeah.
What I would like to know is I'm sure we could find it, how many tornadoes have gone outside of a tornado-warned polygon in the last 10 years? And I would be willing to bet you none of them have. I don't bet there's one.
Yeah.
Where they stick a polygon out, and all of a sudden the tornado, what does it do? Just go north?
Yeah.
Or just...
They're normally big enough that that's not going to be a problem.
Right.
I'm sure that maybe there's been one or two that wasn't warned.
Right.
That dropped down really quick.
And those happen.
And those happen rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely, not very often.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear that probably the bigger issue is just the warnings being too big and them happening too often.
And there needs to be federal mandates from the White House down. Is we don't sound tornado sirens unless there's a tornado.
Well, I think the sirens need to be, and a lot of people don't even realize that sirens are not meant to be heard indoors. I talked to somebody last week that didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people probably know that if you're indoors, you're not meant to be hearing the tornado sirens.
No.
You need to have another way of finding out whether there's a tornado warning. And that was actually something somewhere I wrote down that somewhere here, less than 50% of people have a good way to get warnings overnight.
Yeah.
They don't have a good way because they either utilize the sirens, or they just don't have an alert set up, weather radio, something.
Listen, in the early to mid to late 90s, the NOAA weather radio and the county-based alerting software was great. It was cutting edge, and we got a way to increase lead time of tornado warnings and help save lives. And I'm not saying that charge and that whole program wasn't good. It is.
Yeah, it was.
It was good. It was great at the time. But we are so far beyond that. We've got to redo it now.
Yeah.
And instead of putting our money into researching whether the climate is warmer by a half a degree, I mean, who cares? Like, let's look at what are actually impacting people at ground level with their homes and their lives, and let's put our money and our research and our funding into things that actually move the needle. Okay, guess what? If climate change is changing and the world's warmer, we're not gonna push a button and cool the world down. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But what we could do is we can push buttons to make warnings better and make people listen to them more, a lot cheaper and a lot faster.
Yeah. So basically, just to sum it all up, we need to focus more on the real life impacts day to day of people. The big picture is great, but what that big picture is doing to people is even more important.
Yep. And we need people to know that that we're working on it, so they'll listen again.
Yeah, for sure. That about sums up the podcast for today. Hope's giving us the warning flag over there saying, shut up.
Yep, that's fine.
We're going to do this more every other week, I think, of different topics. I will never tell Michael what the topics are going to be, so you never know what you're going to get. But this has been good. Any last notes?
I don't know. Probably shouldn't. We'll wait for next time.
All right. Well, we'll sum that up. The music should start here any second, I think, and tune in again. More information about, just trying to make your life better and safer with better weather information, and probably what you don't know.
That's right. See ya.